Hey everybody, we're back for another week. I want to give you a honest review this week of F150 LEDs. And when I say that, that's actually the company name. I know there's lots of different LEDs you can buy to put in F150s, but this is actually pertaining to the F150 LEDs. And I've had these installed in my truck, probably 6 or 8 months now. I've been waiting on doing this video because there was a problem and I was trying to get it resolved, and so that's kind of why I want to get saying it's an honest review. F150 did not pay for this. They did not send me anything free, and so this is just my honest opinion. I paid out of my pocket for this, and so I want to let you guys know what all it takes to get LEDs all over your F150. So stay tuned. I'll tell you all about it.
Turn it up!
Now, when I started looking for F150 LEDs, mine's a 2011 F150 Harley Davidson. You saw us do some other things in this truck. It's been in a lot of our videos. Love this truck. It's got the 6.2 liter in it. Absolutely love this thing. We towed with camper, trailers, everything with it. But I actually researched LEDs for about 2 years before I finally committed to buying some. And I bought the F150 LEDs because I just felt like they was the best match for what I wanted. Now, what we replaced headlights, parking lights, running lights. We did the brake lights in the back, did reverse lights. I actually even did the third brake light, and I did the cargo light in the back. So I replaced basically everything outside with LEDs. The only thing I didn't replace was the side marker lights here, and I just didn't feel like it was worth doing those because mainly I was trying to get better light up front. When we bought my wife's car, hers came standard with the halogen lights in it, and they're so super bright at night that it made when we get in the truck, it made it feel dim at night. And so I've been looking for a while, trying to find something to make it brighter and better. And one main reason why I went with F150 LEDs is because it's a direct replacement bulb for your current housing. Now, I did go ahead and replace my housing up here with another factory one because mine was pitted and everything where we do so many trips, just highway dirt, grime, rocks, it was real pitted, and so I thought maybe that was actually affecting some of the light output also. So I went in and put new of these in, but I wanted them exactly original. I like keeping my truck, everything in this truck is original pretty much, and so I want to keep those original. So I know they make a lot of LEDs out there. If you go to like American Truck and all that kind of stuff, they make where you buy the whole housing with the LEDs built in. I didn't want that because what if the LED did go bad? I know they're supposed to last a tremendous amount of time, but you also see the cars where you see one little LED out in the brake light or something like that. So I didn't want housings with the LEDs built in. I wanted it where I could plug it in my existing light bulb holes, and so that's what I went for, which is another reason why I chose F150 LEDs. It goes directly in here. Now, obviously with LED, it does build up some heat, not from the bulb per se, but from the back side of it. And so F150 LEDs had a little fan attachment that's kind of built into the bulb. You just kind of slide it on the back side, and it wires in your existing wiring harness. There's no wire cutting or anything like that, which is what I wanted. And so that's what we went for. These things are super, super bright. I'm very happy with the headlights. I'm very happy with the parking lights. And I'm super happy with the running lights down here. I mean, they make a world of difference at night. They are so bright. And so for that, I have to give F150 LEDs hats off. I mean, super easy installs. I'm not even going to show you how to install them because if you want to know how to install them, go to their website. They have a video on every make and model of F150 that's out there with detailed videos showing you how to install them. And I mean, seriously, it takes minutes, guys. I mean, it's super, super easy. And we'll get some shots at nighttime so I can show you at night how bright these things really are. Only thing I wish I'd done, I wish I'd put one in and left the one original so you could see the difference. But again, they've got some of those examples on their websites if you want to go check those out. So I am super happy with that. Alright, here you can see how bright the headlights are, and they look like they're on bright, but they really are not. That is actually on dim, and you can see the running lights there. Come around, try to get a shot of how it projects out. So again, that's on low beams, high beams, and so you see it doesn't. What happens when you turn it on the high beams, you actually lose your running lights there. So I think that's what a lot of people are talking about, where it kind of gets that dark spot right there in the middle a little bit. But because there's your high beams and low beams. But to me, I hardly ever take anything off the low beams anyway. So, and then here's the tail lights, just the regular tail lights at night. And there's the brake lights, so you can see how bright they light up. You can also see the LED light up on the top there for the cargo light, how bright it is. Super bright at night, guys. And then here's the flash blinky I was talking about. You can see how fast the blinker is pulsating there. Again, that's because the resistors aren't on there. But again, it kind of shows you the brightness there between just the regular tail light and the blinker slash brake light at night. And we're in the parking lot here, so there is some ambient light back behind us, so it's not total pitch black dark here, but hopefully that gives you some kind of an idea on how bright those things are. And again, one more time from the front. And again, these lights are super bright. I mean, you can kind of see how it's crisp white. You know, the factory headlights in it was kind of more of a yellow rather than a bright white. Now, let's go to the back side and I'll tell you about the problems. Okay, again, back here, guys, we replaced the tail lights and the brake lights, which is both of these lights here. We put new backup lights in it. I did change out the cargo light and the third brake light up here. Those up there are super easy. Those are literally just a bulb, plug and play, because they're so small. You don't have to have any resistors, you don't have to have any fans or anything like that to run the bright LEDs on those. Those are super easy. 2 screws, 3 bulbs, takes 5 minutes. And again, they've got great videos on their website if you want to go check that out. Now, reverse lights. Those is awesome. Those are plug and play also. You simply pop your old bulb out, pop your new bulb in, and it is a world of difference at night. One other thing I forgot to mention earlier on the headlights, the biggest complaint I read when I bought the F150 LEDs headlights is a lot of people complain that when you turn them on bright, it kind of like leaves a little, I don't know, it's not a blank space, but it kind of changes the beam from down low up high, and it kind of leaves a hollow spot there. I do see that. Now, it doesn't bother me that much because my other lights were so dim that I still think that the LED is a much better fit. But again, that is one of the things I read about on some of the comments on there. Again, it doesn't affect me enough. I don't hardly ever turn my lights on bright anyways, so it's not a big deal. And I have the running lights running most of the time when I'm driving, and so that kind of fills that void there too. So, but anyways, my problem came in about with the brake lights and turn signals. And what happened is, if you've got a 2009 to 2014 F150, there is what's called a BCM that controls these tail lights and brake lights. If that BCM detects the lights out, it can shut the lights down completely. What's supposed to happen is if you get a brake light out or tail light out, you'll get the fast blinky. And you probably, everybody out there drives a truck probably knows what I'm talking about. You turn your blinker on and it blinks twice as fast as what it normally does. That's to let you know that you've got a light out back here. The way it does that is it takes a traditional bulb, you have the filament in the traditional bulb, it takes that resistance and that BCM measures that to know if that filament's intact. If it's intact, it's going to have a resistance in the voltage and it knows it's working properly. Once that filament breaks, then it does the fast blinking because it doesn't no longer have any resistance. Well, LEDs don't have a filament. So when you put an LED in back here, the computer can't recognize it because there is no resistance, so it gives you the fast blinky. The way F150 LEDs combats that is they send you 50-watt resistors. And so they send these are in the kit, and you do have to wire them in. Now I will show you kind of where that happens at here. And this thing is super easy to get to. Literally, it's 2 bolts. And then you simply pull your tail light housing out. And then there, it exposes everything. Now, once you get everything exposed here, you can see what I've done is I've actually mounted these up in here. They actually supply you with a self-tapping screw that goes in there, and it'll actually drill right into that metal there to hold it in place. The reason why you want to do that is those things get super hot. I mean, it'll leave a blister on your finger. And so if it touches any wires, guess what? It's going to burn the wiring too. So you definitely want to get those mounted up out of the way. And so I mounted one there. And then I don't know if you can see this lower one or not. It's kind of back in behind the wires there. But the other one's right down there at the bottom part for the bottom light. Then what you do is you come in here and they give you these quick connectors here so you can splice that resistor in. Now if you notice, mine's cut off. I'm fixing to explain to you why that is. But they send you these little red connectors, and so all you do is take your 2 outside wires, splice it in there, and then this will go right in there, which goes right into the resistor. And you have 2 of these for each side. You got one for the upper light and one for the lower light. So once I did all that, again, they've got great instructional videos on their website. I followed the videos down to the T, put everything in, cranked it up, hit the brake light, super bright, blinkers, super bright. I was tickled pink. It seemed super easy to install. I mean, it really didn't take probably more than 30 minutes to replace every single outside light in this whole truck. What took the longest was actually getting the little resistor drilled and mounted in here in the tail light housing. Everything else was super easy. Problem is, actually that weekend, we drove it for a few days around town. Everything seemed fine. Then we took off on a trip. On the trip, had a guy flag me down and says, "Hey, you have no brake lights." So I pull over, sure enough, no brake lights, no blinkers, no nothing. So we kind of be very careful, drove back home. I disassembled everything to make sure there was no wire connectors loose, anything like that. Everything seemed good and tight. And then all of a sudden one side would start working. But then the other one side wouldn't. So I thought, well, surely as many F150 LEDs as they sold, somebody's had to have this problem before. So I sent them an email and said, "Hey, has anybody else run into this problem?" And they said, "Well, no, not that we really know of. It's probably a resistor bad." They said, "If resistor bad, it could cause that to do that." So they said, "Let us send you another set of resistors." So they sent me 4 more of these with all new connectors. So I took the old ones out. I actually, took a screwdriver, pried these things back apart, took the old connectors off, used the new connectors, used the new resistors, put everything on there. Lasted a day or two, and then what ended up happening the second time was, if this blinker came on, the other brake light would work. If you turn the driver's side blinker on, the passenger side brake light would work, but they would never work both sides at the same time. And then eventually, the driver's side went out completely, and we couldn't get it to work for anything. Wasn't getting any voltage, nothing. Well, we also haul trailers and everything for our side gig, where we make our chairs and baby swings and like that. Well, we had a show that weekend, so I hooked the trailer up, thinking, well, at least, it'll hide the brake light that's out on the truck. Well, guess what? The trailer lights wouldn't work. Same side. So I got to doing some research, YouTuber, so I started doing some YouTube research, found out that there's a BCM, the brake control module, on these F150s. It's what I was telling you about earlier that gives you the fast blink if it thinks the light's out. The problem is, if it senses an error, that BCM will shut down the voltage completely to these rear lights. And when it shuts it down, it also shuts it down to the trailer. So the 7-pin and the everything else, it shuts all that down too. So I had no trailer lights, had no brake lights. So again, I reached out to F150 and I said, look, F150 LEDs, and I said, look, I've changed these out. It's still doing the same thing. You know, I'm told it's, you know, something with the BCM. You know, surely in all the years, because like I say, I researched these for 2 years. Surely you've known of a problem like this. Crickets. The only thing they came back and said, well, we can send you some more resistors. They sent me another set of resistors. So now I have 3 sets of these resistors. Still the same problem. So at this point, I'm like, I'm on my own. So I called the dealer to see, you know, because what I was told on the BCM, you have to have one of those OBDII readers to be able to go in there and read the code, reset the code, all that. So I called the dealer just to see, you know, what would it cost for them to, you know, check the BCM out and reset it for me to get the power back to the lights. It was ridiculous. They wanted like $180 just to read the code. I know you can take it to AutoZone and all those places, they can read codes and all that too, but I wasn't sure if they could reset the code. So I got to researching some more, found where you can actually buy one of those OBDII readers off Amazon. I'll put the link below, and hook it up to your phone. So that's what I did. And what I'd seen on YouTube was if you take that, you can reset the code and then your lights would start working again. Well, to buy the OBDII on Amazon was like $19. I'm like, okay, that's a no-brainer. 19 versus 180. So I bought one of those, plugged it up to the truck. I was all excited. Ran the codes, no codes. And I'm like, well, crap. So I thought it had a button down at the bottom. It said, reset all codes, or clear all codes. That's what it said, clear all codes. And I thought, well, there ain't no codes, but I hit the button anyways to clear them. Magically, brake lights started working again. Blinkers started working again. Excuse me. So I thought, wow, that's amazing. It fixed it that easy. Drove it 2 days, went back to doing the same thing again. If this blinker works, this brake light would work, and vice versa. So at that point, I'm like, I'm at my wit's end. You know, we haul trailers. At that time, we was in our peak season of traveling. We're going to shows, so we was traveling nearly every single weekend pulling trailers, and I could not take the risk of not having brake lights, tail lights, blinkers, and all that. It's just too dangerous when you're out on the road. So I thought, well, I'm going to try to reset it again, and I'm going to cut these resistors out and see what happens. So hooked the OBDII up again, reset all codes, came back here, and that's the reason why you saw back here when I showed you a minute ago, you see the wires cut, because I cut the resistors out. Amazingly, after that, everything works perfect. The only problem is you get the fast blinky on your turn signals, because again, the way that BCM works, it's looking for resistance in that filament of that bulb. Since it's LEDs, there's no resistance, so it thinks the bulbs burn out, so it makes it fast blink. But both of these lights will blink. Both lights light up for the brake light. They both light up for the tail light at night when you're driving down the road when you have your lights on. Everything works on the trailer again. So I again reached out back to F150 LEDs and I said, guys, here's what I've ran into. Here's what I found. And I even confirmed it. I had there's a buddy of mine, actually not a buddy of mine, actually a buddy of my father-in-law's that works over there. He talked to him. He works on all these cars all the time, and he said, yeah, he said it's very common when people try to put LEDs in these F-150s, and I think it's specific to the 2009 to 2014 that's the problem. He said, you know, it messes up the BCM and shuts the lights down. So I basically had compiled a big long email, sent all the detailed information I had to F-150 LEDs, and you know, because I really wanted to work with them. You know, I said, let's get with your tech guy. I said, I know you got to have a tech guy. You know, you got all this information. You know, let's see if we can't troubleshoot this together and figure this out for the betterment of everybody. Basically, all I got back, unfortunately, was we've exhausted everything on our end. The best we can do is give you a refund if you can send everything back in the original box. Of course, by that time it'd been 6 or 8 weeks. I didn't throw the original boxes away. So that's where I was a little disappointed with F150 LEDs, because as long as they've had these are actually, I think, called Gen 2. I think the headlights are all the way up to Gen 3 now. The fog light's one of those. So they've had these for several years now, and have actually improved upon them, made different generations of bulbs that are better, easier to install, and so I just really felt like them being in business that long and doing that many light bulbs that they would have a solution, or we could at least work together to find a solution, and they kind of bailed on me. So that's, like, again, I'm shooting this as an honest review. I've waited months to shoot this video because I've been trying to figure out an alternative. Now they did the last time whenever they said they'd give me a refund, they did send me a new connector. They said they had been developing a new connector, and you can see the difference here. Here's the traditional red one, which has been around for 20 years probably. Now they've sent this new one that's more like a T. It opens up, you slide your wire in there, and this one goes across the other wire. Of course, when you pinch it down, it cuts into the wire, similar to this. But they said they have been having problems with these connectors, and of course if it loses connection, it triggers an error to the BCM and cuts everything off. So they did send me these. I have not tried these yet, just simply because we just haven't had time. We've been so busy with everything else. I have not had time to try these new connectors to see if it's a connection issue. I really honestly don't think it's a connection issue, because again, I've changed these resistors out twice and it still does the same thing every single time. So I'm not convinced that's the problem, and I don't want to take the chance of doing something and it causing a problem with that BCM, because if that BCM goes out and I have to change out the BCM, it's almost 800 bucks. So in my opinion, I've left it as is. I do have the fast blinky, but I know that I don't have a bulb out because I check it all the time. Like I said, we're all the time hooking up to trailers and things, so we're checking the tail lights and brake lights all the time. And so in my opinion, I think, and I could easily put the regular bulbs back in there. I could go back and put the traditional bulbs back in, maybe go get some halogen bulbs and put in there, and they'd still be bright. But these LEDs are so bright at night. I love them. The only issue is I can't figure out why the computer, the BCM, keeps having a problem with these resistors, and it makes one side work and one side not, and it switches. It's not consistent. It won't stay the same. It all depends on the blinker. And so for me, I'm willing to deal with the fast blinky to have the brighter LED lights, because I do feel like the brighter lights are safer at night. I think it gives everybody more visibility. It keeps people behind me more visibility. My headlights gives me more visibility without blinding people. And so I'm willing to live with it that way. And so that's my honest review. I know that's a pretty boring video for this week, but I know a lot of guys have got these F150s and they're trying to fix them up. And like I say, it's something I want to do for a long time. And I put a lot of money in these LEDs. I mean, I probably had close to $600 by the time I bought all these lights and put them in. And so to have that kind of headache perturbed me a little bit. Like I say, I don't want to badmouth F150 LEDs too bad, because I do love the products. I love the lights. It's just for some reason that 2009 to 2014, mine's a 2011, it has an issue with running LEDs with a BCM. And that's not all on F150 LEDs. That's also a Ford problem. Back when these came out, LEDs wasn't that popular. So, they didn't have to address that issue, I guess. But, but it's not all the F-150 LEDs people's fault. Part of it's just the Ford and the way it doesn't want to recognize the LEDs. So, there's shared blame there. But I was just a little disappointed that we couldn't work together to maybe come up with a better solution than what we had. So, guys, also, if you have any other ideas that I might not have tried, please leave me a comment down below. I always read all the comments. I try to reply to everything that I can, or at least give it a thumbs up to let you know that I did read it. And so, if this helps some people, I hope it does. If you're having trouble with putting LEDs in the back here and it's doing weird stuff on you, I hope this helps you. Like I say, you can get the OBDII reader and clear your codes and get that BCM reset. If you take it to the dealer, they're bad about telling you the BCM is bad and wants to say you're holding your computer, so be careful there. I've read a lot of people that had taken theirs to the dealers and they told them they had to buy the whole new BCM when probably you could have reset it. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. But anyways, if you got any suggestions, let me know. If this helps you, let me know. I love hearing from you guys. Like I say, that's why we make these videos, just try to help other people. So I mean, I'll wrap my brain for weeks and weeks and weeks trying to figure this out. And again, that's the best solution for me. One of these days I get bored, I may go back and try these connectors and try to put new resistors in one more time. I don't know, maybe, maybe not. If I do, I'll come back and update the comments in the description and let you know that if it does work, I'll come back and do an update on that. But for right now, I'm leaving it like it is because I need the reliability and I love the bright lights. So tune in each week, guys. We'll always have something new. Hopefully, not too long, we might have something that's exciting going on. Don't want to give away any details yet till we get everything buttoned up. But we got lots of things in the works. You know, we've been busy in the shop with our crafts. It won't be too much longer. We'll be getting back out on the festival circuit on the weekends. And so make sure you try to follow our calendar. We have our website, ourroundaboutlife.com. It tells you everywhere we're going to be. We'd love to meet some of you guys. Last year when we was at some of our festivals, we did have people come up and recognize us from some of the barn door videos and all that. Come up and talk to us, and man, we had a blast. And so we love meeting up with people. So keep a track on our calendar. We're going to be at lots of different places this year. I think we're going to like 13 different shows. So make sure you keep up with us and come out and say hi. Till next week, see you then.